Well, through our Knowing Nevada series, we usually take a look back at our state's history and link the past with the present and the future.
That's right, but tonight we're taking a look outside of Nevada, back at what was once a booming technology town that's drawing comparisons to today's Reno-Sparks. Here's Kern with our report.
Austin, Texas in the 1970s had the same population that Reno-Sparks now has, with big tech driving a boom in each. So just how similar or different is Austin of the 70s, 80s, and 90s to Reno-Sparks of 2017? Our own Weather Authority Chief Meteorologist Colin Jackson lived in Austin in the 90s, and Edible Reno Tahoe magazine publisher Jackie Goodman lived there in the 80s. Both were kind enough to sit down with us and compare the two.
Austin was supposed to be a sleepy little town with a college town, and then when tech came, just like it's going to happen here,
right.
And I already see the difference.
Sound familiar? Major brands like IBM and Motorola drove hundreds of tech companies into Austin by the 90s. The population then doubled from 250,000 in 1970 to around 500,000. In Reno-Sparks, big tech is filtering in between Tesla, eBay, and dozens more. This, of course, is the driving force of our own growing population.
When I was there, it was easy to get around when you had a car, and it wouldn't take you long to drive through Austin.
Those days are gone,
Those
right?
days are way gone.
Wow. I-35 through Austin can be a parking lot starting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Wow.
So I-35 and 395 is the same kind of freeway where you're going to have a lot of north-south traffic.
Major development is underway in Damani Ranch, and the potential exists in Wingfield Springs, showing Reno-Sparks is growing north and south. Austin grew in these directions too, which caused problems for the freeway system there. That same traffic congestion already reflects the trend here.
To know where it's going to go with all of the great companies that are moving here,
right.
That I'm afraid. I have to be honest with you. I'm actually afraid. What are we going to do when another 150, 200,000 people show up?
Double our population, yeah.
The Regional Transportation Commission recognizes this growth issue. They're zeroing in on improving the Spaghetti Bowl, focusing on west to north, east to south transportation, and vice versa.
The second part of the Spaghetti Bowl is going to be focus is going to be safety. In the end, I think design recommendations will be considered include direct connector ramps and improvements to total lanes.
What about when it comes to culture? What are the similarities and differences between Reno now and Austin in the 80s when you were there?
I think the food culture for me, we are where Austin was when I was in school back there in the 80s. Everything was locally owned businesses.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of a vibe thing too, because I moved here a year ago, January. So when I was driving up and down South Virginia through Midtown, and I saw the neon, and I saw the shops and the restaurants and the bars and the funky places, it just kind of, I said to my wife, I said, doesn't this remind you of Austin?